Whether the US wants to empower India, the answer is yes. The US definitely wants to empower India because it sees India as a democratic bulwark against an authoritarian China. You have to understand the mindset of the Americans a little bit. Unlike us Indians, we do not believe in evangelizing our political system. For instance, let's say we are a democracy, right? China is not a democracy. Saudi Arabia is not a democracy. Uh, Qatar is not a democracy. But we are dealing with them. We have a huge trade relationship going on with each of these countries. We don't have a problem with that because we believe that even though it is preferred that these countries have a democratic political system, but if these countries have a different political system, well, we have to accept that and do business with them. This is the kind of approach we take. Whereas the Americans take the approach that if you are not a democracy, then it's going to be very difficult for me to do business with you. So the entire American liberal hegemonic project is is uh, is is based on this assumption that it is America's duty to turn the entire world into a mirror image of its own. So that is the core American foreign policy project. They don't hide it. If you look at the US State Department, they're very upfront about it. They say that yes, this is our foreign policy objective. We want to turn the entire world into a liberal democracy project. Right? That creates problems. Now let's separate the two. If you want, if your question is if the US is keen on empowering India, if the US is keen on making us strong to take on China, the answer is yes. The US is investing in us. The top American companies are investing in us. The US is engaging with us on different multiple levels, from the very top to from at different stratas and different sorts of engagement, and not to speak of the people to people ties. Top American companies are now visiting India. Apple has recently opened two of its own stores in inside India. Cisco is investing here. Walmart is investing here, and they are taking advantage of the PLI scheme. I think America is keen that India becomes strong and India becomes self-reliant. America understands that India will never be its formal treaty ally. I think that is clearly understood. But it hopes that, and this is what America expressed from India, that a strong India, a self-reliant India, an India that can stand on its own, will form a natural counterpoint to China, which wants to dominate Asia. So, if you strip it to the bones, then America is empowering India not because it is in love with India, but because it knows that an empowered India will benefit America in some ways. Yes. So, I think there is no doubt about that. I'll be the first person to say this, that Americans really do want to see a stronger India. They are investing in us in many different ways. They are giving us newer and newer technologies. In many cases, it is also true that we are not ready to take the American systems on board because one, we have a legacy weapon system issue with Russia, because in many cases there is a problem with interoperability. For instance, if you drive an S-400 S-400 missile defense system, then you cannot use an American system which is compatible with it. There will be an interoperability issue. But India prefers, at one point of time, Americans were not giving us anything. So it was the Russians whom we had to turn to. And that relationship, the relationship based on defense equipment, is not going to go away in a hurry. um, at least I think 60 to 65% of our defense equipment is still the origin of that source is still Russia, and we are dependent on Russia for the foreseeable future for the spare parts, repairing, and stuff like that. That is not going to go away. The other problem is that American weapon systems are extremely expensive. So for a country where budget is an issue, because even though India spends a lot of money on defense, but the thing is that India has as a developing country, India has to take care of other needs as well. So it cannot just spend everything on buying new toys. So that is another problem. But apart from this, I think the defense and strategic relationship with America is very strong, and it is becoming stronger still.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.